In this episode 87 of the Daily Hustle, we are talking about marketing your business and the Red Bull success story. Also, we talk about why the number 87 is the devil's number in Australia.
Broadcasting from the box that rocks and Thrive15.com world headquarters, it's the Daily Hustle with Daniel McKenna.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is episode 87 of the Daily Hustle Show. Over to my left, Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. And today we are talking about marketing your business and the Red Bull success story. Marshall, how are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling extra hopped up on Red Bull this morning, Dan.
Extra hopped up.
Extra hopped up. I'm so glad that Red Bull has chosen to sponsor the show.
Chose to sponsor the show, that's right. In return, we're going to talk about Red Bull's success story and kind of how they came to be. And what we get out of it is we'll still occasionally drink Red Bull.
Yeah, we don't make any money off Red Bull.
No. It's a different kind of. It's a different setup.
It's a different kind of sponsorship where they don't know that they're sponsoring us.
It's episode 87.
Okay.
So of course, as usual, you always bug me about this. You always want to know. You always want to know random facts about the number. You always ask. You always prod. I keep saying no, we don't need to do that, and you keep saying please. Make sure we do that. So here's some stuff for 87.
Okay.
Did you know?
I did not.
Cricket in Australia holds 87 as a superstitiously unlucky score and is referred to as the devil's number.
I did not know that. Thank you for enlightening me.
Because 87 is 13 runs short of a century. A century is good in cricket. 87. So 87 is unlucky. Did you know 87 Punch includes one bottle of Bacardi rum, 8 years aged, and 7-Up, 2-liter bottle?
I did not know that.
I had never even heard of that. Did you know the Wenger, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Wenger Swiss Army knife version XXL, listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most multifunctional pen knife with 87 tools?
I did not know that.
How many pen knives do you have on you right now?
I got no pen knives on me.
Sam, any pen knives?
He does have a pen knife.
He does have a pen knife. There you go. Sam carries a pen knife with him at all times. Okay, let's dive into this here. Marshall, how much do you know about the Red Bull story, sort of their origin story, and how they came to be?
I don't know much about Red Bull, but I do like drinking Red Bull.
That's a good start. That's a good start. Originally, Red Bull was created in 1970. Started in Thailand. It wasn't Red Bull then. It was Krating Dang. I don't know if I'm saying that right either. Krating Dang in gas stations that truck drivers and like laborers would purchase. It was like a working class drink.
Got it.
So then this guy, he's an executive at a company, Dietrich Mateschitz. He's vacationing in Thailand. This Red Bull drink, Krating Dang, helps him with his jet lag. He heard it was good for hangovers too. He met the owners, and with the owners, they combined. They both put $500,000 in each and created this Red Bull company. He gets 49, they get 49. 2% of it went to the guy's kids.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Yeah. He tweaks the flavor. He thinks that, I like this idea. All these people they're all about it here in Thailand. I think, they'd like that over in Europe because he's Austrian, so he wanted to get it over in Europe. Tweaked the flavor, thought it was too sweet, thought it needed some carbonation, and he thought it should be sold to higher price markets. He didn't think it should be like, this is the working man's drink. He said this should be like a luxury drink, or this should be like a fancy drink.
Fancy.
The product, now at this point, keep in mind, this is sometime in the 80s. This product was not heard of by anyone outside of Thailand. Only in Thailand had you heard of Krating Dang. It's kind of a cult phenomenon at the time. So what can we do before we get too far into the story here? What can we start taking away from this? That this product was already out there, and if people that are watching here, maybe their product or maybe their service are quote unquote in Thailand right now. Maybe we don't know about them. Maybe their customers don't even know about them. Their ideal customers don't know about them. What is the trap that small businesses can fall into here? Because Creating Dang, the birthplace for this billion-dollar company, was just sitting there. It was in Thailand. You could go get it. It was in stores. What's the trap here?
So I think in being in Thailand can be an analogy or a metaphor or a simile
Or maybe.
or maybe
Yeah.
it could.
Yeah.
It could be an analogy for maybe your product and service exists and it's awesome.
Maybe.
It's just incredible. It solves a huge need, and maybe there's a lot of people that actually really, really like it. But if you don't market it and you don't sell it, then what's the point? If you have an awesome thing, product or service, and you don't tell anybody about it, then how awesome are you really?
Well, I mean, probably not that awesome.
Well, you might not be that awesome,
You might not.
but your product might be awesome.
It's possible.
Your product might be awesome, but your business might not be awesome. And so the trap that you can see is there's so much research and development that's done on products and services and tweaking and refining. And we focus on this one area, okay, creating the value proposition that maybe we fall too in love with that portion of it that we forget completely about the marketing and sales conversion side of the business. And so it's super important that we continue to grow in both areas, product development, research and development, and the marketing sales side of the company.
Because old Dietrich, he got over there. Because remember, this seems weird now, but energy drinks didn't exist at this time.
That's right. There was nothing. There was coffee.
You could have coffee, and then there was like illegal narcotics. Those are like your two options as far as like stimulants go. There was no such thing as the energy drink.
Yeah.
Now every gas station you go to has multiple cases, multiple like door or window fronts of energy drinks.
Oh,
well,
Not
I don't know what
narcotics.
gas stations you go to.
not narcotics.
I don't know what gas
Just
stations
coffee.
you go to.
Coffee.
So Dietrich, he tweaks a little bit. He says, this is really good, but it needs a little bit of this, a little bit of that, tweaks a little bit. And then what they do was the first thing they did, Marshall. The first thing they did once they tweaked the product a little bit, they got aggressive about marketing. Dietrich says, okay, you got the product, deal. Let me tweak this a little bit here, do that, throw a little bit of, maybe a little pinch of salt right there, maybe, add some guacamole. Okay, no, guacamole's a bad idea. Gonna take the guacamole out of that there. Okay, we're back to normal. Cool. Let's get aggressive about marketing. They started sponsoring one of the world's best Formula One drivers. And why is this? Well, Formula One is big and fancy in Europe. It's like an elitist sport in Europe.
And they go really fast.
And they go really fast. So Dietrich says, I think my product, this new product that we are now calling Red Bull, I think that this is going to appeal to a lot of people that have money. What are these people that have money? What are they doing? Well, they're watching Formula One because Formula One is cool. It's like almost it's a more popular version as if you're trying to sponsor like a Kentucky Derby horse. You know, the people at the Kentucky Derby with the big hats.
Big hats. Coming up. It's coming up here.
Coming up. All those people obviously have a decent amount of cash, get some money. Maybe you could sponsor a horse because it'd be like, well, those are my ideal buyers. That was his idea here, right? My ideal buyers are watching Formula One. I'm going to start sponsoring Formula One racing, specific racers. As they started getting traction here, they started over in Europe. They didn't get over to the States until, I believe, let's see here. I've got the timeline. 1997. So Red Bull was born in 1987. It's been sitting in Thailand since 1970. 1997 was the first time they got over to the States. So before then, they started gaining some traction. And then they started sponsoring and creating their own extreme events. Have you seen this?
I've heard of these extreme events.
So not only do they have they sponsor the skydiving team, they sponsor motorcycle like BMX guys, they sponsor like all these like extreme sport type stuff. Right, that was their niche. Right, they said, okay, well, we'll get more into that, but some of these extreme events they had created was like the Flugtag. You ever seen the Flugtag?
Educate me.
The Flugtag, you get up on this, you're like over this like lake, and all these people come out to watch you, and you build your own glider. And let's see here. I'm just gonna Google real quick here. Flugtag gliders. Just if you're at home, go ahead and Google this as well. You can see what I'm talking about. There's just stuff that people created, their own gliders. This one's got a huge face on it. Let's see. This one, let's see here. Let me do a better search here. Because part of the fun here is that they just look crazy. And then they're with one person or with 3 people or with 5 people, they run off this runway. They run and they jump and they try to glide with this thing that they created themselves. And all the time, the gliders just fall apart. Because it's just like if you and me built a glider. Sam would be the best at this of the 3 of us. Sam would be like I might be able to kind of like design something in Photoshop maybe, and then Sam would have to actually build it.
And I would just be the gritty guinea pig ready to fly with it. So people run and jump off this thing, this Flugtag, and of course their things just completely fall apart and they all crash into the water. And everyone's like, yeah, that's awesome. Like tons of people come and watch this just because it's entertaining. They created their own crashed ice. This is actually pretty crazy. Crashed ice. Have you seen this? No.
Crashed ice. Okay, so hockey players. You know hockey players?
Mm-hmm.
They get their ice skates on. They got all their pads. They get their helmets. Well, these race down a path that is almost. It's like a bobsleds. They get their own little tracks.
Yeah.
Imagine that just wider, and then 4 dudes skating down that as fast as they can. Literally just crashing into each other, crashing over hills. They're all got like all this hockey gear on, of course, so they don't like just kill themselves. But this whole race, this whole category they created.
Sounds safe.
Probably not safe, but that's part of the thing. Like everyone like watches like what's gonna happen.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Now, before we get into some other stuff they've created here, Marshall, who do you believe the demographic would be the primary buyer of a product like Red Bull? Like we've already talked about, Dietrich thought that he could get it to a higher, like not just the working class sort of drink. He thought bringing it over to Europe and into the States, it didn't have to be just that. It could be more than that. What kind of demographic do you think, though, are the people that are buying Red Bull, buying energy drinks?
Well, the people that are buying energy drinks are probably not the elderly.
Most likely, no.
Probably not infants either.
Probably not either of those two.
No, the people that are going to be buying this energy drink is probably the people that are a bit younger, adrenaline junkies, or people that need a pep in their step, people that are burning the candle at both ends.
Oh, wow.
And they need that pick-me-up, okay?
Okay.
So probably young and energetic people.
Okay. Or at least young and wanting to be energetic people?
Yeah.
Okay. What demographic do you think would be interested in seeing people crash their own glider creations and ice skaters crashing into each other like a kind of out of control, like downhill hockey sort of thing? Who are the people that would like go watch these sort of events? That would think, how should we spend our Saturday? I know. We should go watch these guys create their own gliders and then jump off buildings.
Probably not the elderly.
Probably not.
Probably not infants.
Well, they don't get much of a choice.
No. But probably
and it's a shame.
Probably the young, energetic people that are adrenaline junkies. I'm thinking adrenaline junkies. These are the people that
adrenaline junkies.
Yeah. Adrenaline junkies. People that like high adrenaline, high intensity activities, regardless of what they are, whether it's crashing a glider into a lake or doing extreme ice racing.
So potentially that they're sponsoring all these events, and that costs a lot of money, obviously. But they're also creating events. They're creating like experiences, and it's the Red Bull Flugtag, and it's the Red Bull Crashed Ice. And they're creating events and experiences that would draw their ideal buyers out to see. What does that do for those buyers? What does that do for the people that are like out there? They're like, what does that do for let's say you're that buyer. What do you now have in your mind as far as what kind of brand Red Bull is?
Well, you see this with a couple different big brands. I think Red Bull does the best job of this out of any company. But Red Bull has transcended and is no longer just an energy drink brand, but it's a lifestyle brand. Those people that are adrenaline junkies believe in that lifestyle. It influences their everyday decisions in life. And so I think, what does it do? It gets them to fall in love with Red Bull, not for the reason of the energy drink, but because of what it represents. It's a status symbol. When I'm drinking Red Bull, I'm showing that I am a part of this lifestyle.
So the same sort of thing if like a lady might like a Coach purse, or might like some some sort of designer shoes or whatever. They're like, yeah, that's me. They relate somehow.
That's right.
Okay. It's not just adrenaline junkies that drink these energy drinks.
Really?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking adrenaline junkies are people that are like always jumping out of planes and stuff like that. Maybe doing some like bungee jumping.
Okay.
It's also great for college students.
Really?
In fact, here's a story here for you. I attended Oral Roberts University.
Okay.
And I was in charge of a group called the Maybe Maniacs.
You were in charge.
I was.
You were the top maniac.
I was the top maniac. That's right. People would carry me around campus with my little hat.
You were the master maniac.
I was the master maniac. Actually, this year, I was the vice maniac. I was the vice master maniac this year. Future years, I was master maniac.
I got it.
Okay. So Red Bull used to sponsor our group. Our group was basically the people that would go crazy at all the basketball games.
Really?
Yeah. We'd have pizza and Red Bull before every game.
Wow.
And get all hyped up on sugar and be like, let's go. Well, so one year we switched over to one of the guys in the group. His family had their own energy drink called Killer Buzz.
Oh, gosh.
And we said, okay, yeah, we'll switch over to Killer Buzz. Why not? It makes sense. The guy's in the group. Why not support Killer Buzz? So we were at Killer Buzz that year. Well, we get to the end of the year, the conference tournament. You know how conference tournaments work. You got to win every game to move on, right? It's a one and done. If you win your conference tournament, even if you're a small school in a small conference like ORU was, you go to the NCAA tournament. It's your one chance to get in the dance if you're a small school. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we are out of Killer Buzz. And the tournament is starting like 2 days from now. I'm like, oh, great. What are we going to do? We've created this whole like fun, maybe maniac experience where we get in the parking lot and we grill, and we do pizza, and we do Killer Buzz. We do this whole thing, right? And it's a big turnout, especially for the conference championship stuff. So me and my buddy, Jordan Talene, drive to Dallas because the guy who's giving us the Killer Buzz, he's down in Dallas, and he just got a fresh shipment in from his folks of like just crates of Killer Buzz. Like in these like, I don't know, what are they, 24 packs?
Okay.
24 packs, yeah. So we've got, the games start on Saturday. It's a Thursday night. We take off for Dallas. Get down there. Grab a whole bunch of Killer Buzz. Get down there late Thursday night. Start driving back on that same night because sorry. It was a Friday night. The games were the next day. That's what it was. The games were the next day. Friday night, drove down to Dallas, picked up 15 24 packs, maybe 24 packs of Killer Buzz. Just tons of it.
A lot
of it. Now, in college when you sometimes you make dumb decisions and at the times you're like, that'd be funny. And then later on you're like, wow, that was dumb.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is one of those moments.
Really?
Yeah. So me and Jordan Talene, we drove down there. We got down there probably 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
You drove through the evening.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we were responsible students. We had class, you know.
Yeah, you got to go to all the classes.
Got to go to all the classes. But the game was the next day.
You got to get back.
Got to get back. So we didn't have time to like just sleep down there. We had to drive on back.
So you drove down there, and how far is it from Tulsa?
About 4.5 hours.
Okay, 4.5 hours down to Dallas, and then you get the 15 to 20 cases of killer buzz,
Yep.
and then you're like, we got to get back.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, convenient for us. We've got killer buzz with us.
You got 15 to 20 cases.
We got a lot of it.
A lot.
Convenient. So I don't remember how it came up, but it was one of those things where he said, "Hey, would be crazy is if we finished an entire case of this before we got back."
24-pack.
Yeah, 24-pack.
Not FDA regulated.
Not a good idea, but at the time it was like, yeah, it's a great idea.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. So we are chugging Killer Buzz, which, by the way, Red Bull does not taste great, right? You don't drink Red Bull for the taste necessarily. Killer Buzz was worse. I can say that now because I don't think Killer Buzz is still around. If Killer Buzz is still around and I'm like infringing on something, I apologize to the good people of Killer Buzz.
Yeah, it would be the first time we infringed upon something on this.
So me and Jordan Talene driving back, splitting a case, 24 Killer Buzzes. To the point where like we cannot drink them fast enough. Like it's not like physically possible. Like we at one point we literally stop on the highway to pull over to drink more Killer Buzz because we were starting to run out of time, right? Like there's only so much Killer Buzz you can drink before you have to like start forcing the Killer Buzz. We definitely got all the way back, finished the last cans as we were pulling into the driveway of the house there around 5 a.m., 6 a.m. The game is like 2 p.m. that day. And you get out of the car, and you feel like you're just floating. You just feel like you're like, oh man, this is bad. And then just throw up everywhere.
Whoa.
That's how the story ended. It was a terrible idea.
Not necessarily a good idea.
No, and then we were up for the rest of that day.
Killer Buzz not sponsoring Dan McKenna.
Killer Buzz is not sponsoring this content, nor should they. And I do not sponsor my own idea of what was fun to do back in college,
That's fair.
which was splitting a case of Killer Buzz.
Okay.
So, business takeaway: don't drink that much Killer Buzz. I don't know.
Don't do it.
Here's some other events that Red Bull has created for those adrenaline junkies that Marshall likes to refer to, the adrenaline junkies. Do you remember the Red Bull Stratus?
I do remember this. This was historic.
This was cool. Felix Baumgartner, 24 miles above Earth, basically like the lowest level of space. Like he's in space, but he's also somehow still in the stratosphere of space of the Earth, right? Like the very edge. Jumps out of like, I don't even know what it was he was in.
It was like a capsule.
Yeah, it was like a weather balloon or something.
Yeah.
Jumps out of that, 24 miles above the Earth, traveling 800 miles an hour down. He's dressed like an astronaut. I mean, he was in space, so I mean, he probably needed to be dressed like an astronaut.
That's right.
He was broadcast live. That was a cool thing. Why would Red Bull sponsor that? Why would Red Bull say, I got a great idea. Let's spend a ton of money and put this dude
I was
in a
nervous
weather
and I
balloon."
didn't jump.
Yeah, but why would Red Bull do that? Why would they say, this is a good idea?
Because it was a historic, monumental event that people all around the world were going to be watching.
So they knew that they would get the attention.
Oh, yeah.
They knew people would tune in and be like, no way, is this guy going to really do it? What is this thing? Oh, it's the Red Bull Stratus jump.
And we'll get into it in some episodes coming up here. But there's potential for that to go really, really badly.
Yeah.
Really badly.
Well, no one had ever done it before.
I know.
Just like no one had ever split a case of Killer Buzz on the way back from Tulsa to Dallas.
Could go really badly.
Could go really badly. Other things they do, they have their own record label. You ever heard of the band AWOL Nation?
I have.
They are signed to Red Bull Records.
That's interesting.
Do you know they have their own MLS soccer team?
I did know that.
The New York Red Bulls.
I've not seen them play.
So these undertakings definitely cost a lot of money, right? Sending a dude up into space, get your own record label. You literally bought and created a professional soccer team. They spent the money where the amount of attention for their brand they thought was a cheaper cost than traditional marketing methods. You see occasional TV spots for Red Bull, but it's not like you see a lot of Red Bull TV spots, right?
Right.
I don't hear about Red Bull on the radio all the time.
Never hear about it on the radio.
But they're spending their money on all these other crazy things.
That's right.
Why is that?
Because this is how they are getting Red Bull in front of their ideal and likely buyers. They know that the only people that are going to watch these events are the adrenaline junkies, are the fast-paced living individuals, are the people that are looking to push their life to the extremes. And it's a way to immediately, they don't have to sit there and worry about Facebook demographics for their ads and narrow it in and niche into their appropriate person. They know that the only people that are interested in these particular events are their ideal and likely buyers. And so it's a way to filter out and laser focus in on the particular type of person that they want to market to. So sponsoring these events is a way to create a ton of awareness. And so it's the Red Bull stratosphere jump, okay? It's the Red Bull particular ice crash racing, okay? It's the Formula One Red Bull series. And so the Red Bull becomes synonymous with whatever that event is.
So they're spending their money where there's going to be some attention. In a lot of cases, they're creating the attention, but they know this will get people to tune in. And not only will get people to tune in, but these are the kind of people who will probably buy our stuff. The MLS soccer fans, are they as popular as NFL? No, not even close. But if you're an MLS soccer fan, if you're like a team fan in soccer, you're probably pretty hardcore. It's a niche thing where they get very hardcore about it, and therefore you're probably pretty hardcore about your New York Red Bulls, and therefore you probably see the words Red Bull and see the logo of Red Bull, I don't know how many times a week, where you're choosing to look at it because you're a fan of the team.
Oh, yeah.
That's all the time we have for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to talk about what businesses at home might be able to do to take advantage of some of this sort of thinking, to get outside of the traditional methods of marketing, but still get the attention that their business needs so that your product or your service is not stuck in Thailand, because that's not what you want.
Not at all.
Both realistically and metaphorically.
And similarly.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Over to my left, Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. That's it for 87. Tune in to 88, part 2 of the Marketing Your Business and Red Bull Success Story. We'll see you next time. Boom.